Hey guys, Avanti's here. It happens from time to time, and tonight we had some technical issues at the top of the show. Primarily, we had an issue with Skype where it wasn't capturing any of my audio, and so as I led into the show, there was just nothing. So what I've done is I've gone in and I've cut out the beginning of the show, and I've cut straight to where the audio issue was kind of fixed. So what you're going to get is, and let's start with what you've missed. What you missed was we didn't have any emails or iTunes reviews this week. So if you have any questions about the show or Hearthstone or any of the decks we talk about on the show, please feel free to email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com or use the contact us form on our website at heropowerhs.com. Also, go to iTunes. If you like the show, leave us a review. If you don't like the show, leave us a review. We love to hear from you guys. Okay, so with that out of the way, what's going to happen next is I'm going to pitch to Versika, who is going to talk to you about this new partnership we've entered into with Viforce Gaming. We're really excited about it, and Versika is going to give you a little more information. And then after that, we're going to cut to the first topic in our news this week, which is the whispers in the tavern. So some websites in Europe and across the world got postcards from Blizzard this week telling them to stay tuned to twitch.tv/play Hearthstone on Friday the 11th at 10 a.m. Pacific, 1 p.m. Eastern to find out more about the next Hearthstone expansion. And so we're going to talk a little bit about the speculation of that, and after Versika talks to you about Viforce, Zeroshio is going to go right into talking about our speculation for the next expansion. Again, I apologize, and we hope to have this resolved before next week. Be sure to tune in then, Wednesday night at 7:30. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, so we're actually really excited about getting a partner with Viforce. They're a custom computer company that they really have. I guess they're trying to tailor make the shopping experience for customizing a PC. So, like, let's say that you don't really know what you're going to, or let's say that you know what you need, but you don't really know how to get there. Viforce is a place you can go. You can go to their website, viforcegaming.com. You don't have to try and navigate like crazy drop-down menus and so on and so forth. They've made the computer buying experience very transparent. They lay everything out there. They walk you through the process. They're just it's a really great company that's offering, I feel like, a great service to just someone wanting to get into that first gaming PC. We'll
said.
Talk more about them a little bit later in the show too. I'd like to get a little more in depth into what they offer, but we're really excited for the partnership. They're awesome guys, and I think that they're going to go really far.
Well, there's been a lot of changes to the Hearthstone page, and this has been all over Reddit and a few other different sites. And basically, when you go to the Hearthstone page, there are 5 cards lined up that you can scroll through to get an idea what the cards were. And they haven't changed in a long time. They tend to change whenever there's a new set out to show you some of the new cards out. I think there were some League of Explorer cards on there last time. But they've changed to some of the more classic cards, like Faceless Manipulator, and I think it was Void Terror. And what all the cards have in common is they have these tendrils, Cthulhu-like tendrils. And if you're big into the World of Warcraft lore, that's kind of the hallmark of the old gods. So it's kind of speculated that the new set's going to be about maybe the old world of Azeroth, the World of Warcraft, and more of the old gods. And what that exactly means, who knows? I'm excited for it, though.
Versika, thoughts?
I mean, I'm hearing the same things that Zeroshio was talking about. It's right now everyone seems to think that it's all going to be old god related, old world Azeroth. So I don't know. That's exciting to me. I like Faceless Manipulator. I don't think it sees enough play because there's just two other really good cards in the 5 slot. So I would like to see, I guess, a little more incentive to play the card, other than just facelessing a Leroy or something like that to finish off an opponent. But I think a set based around telepathic, psionic, old magic, tendrils, very monster, very old magic. Because I think really when you look at it, Goblins versus Gnome, it was very steampunky. It was very Goblin Gnome techie, and the Argent Tournament, it kind of felt bland in comparison. So I would like to see this have a really strong theme. I'd like to see it have that magic theme to contrast the GVG going out and taking that sort of techie steampunk feel with it. So I think it would be a good set for Priest. I think it'd be a great set for Warlock. I think it'd be a good set for Rogue. Maybe Mage. I think Druid needs... I think the perception is Druid needs some balancing or some competition in just its base set of class cards. So I think Old World could do that for several of the heroes. I would think Face Hunter, or not really Face Hunter, but just Hunter in general, would probably take a step back, and I think Paladin would probably take a little bit of a step back, as those heroes don't really seem to glean as much from an old gods set. So I think it would be nice. I think it'd be nice flavor. I think it gives them a tremendous opportunity to balance.
My thought on this: do you think, if they're going to kind of embrace the old gods theme, that the actual idea of a Shadow Priest deck can actually possibly be done if they do the priest class in that kind of moniker and that theme?
It's funny that you should say that. I actually spent most of this week working on a Shadow Priest deck with the current set of cards, because I kind of had that same type of inspiration. And I've enjoyed playing it. It's not super competitive at the moment, but I think Shadow form could see a little more play. I think that would make it a viable candidate for maybe even a Priest aggro deck, which is something that we've not really seen. I know there was a while there was a Death Rattle Priest that was pretty aggro. And then, combo Priest, when it works, you can do a lot of damage pretty quickly. But for the most part, Priest has been stuck in this control mode for a long time. So I think it would give Priest players a little bit of an option. And as much as I would hate to admit it, they do need an aggro option. I think being stuck, and really when you think about it, Priest is the only class that is stuck. Besides maybe Warrior. Warrior struggles to, I think, hold and maintain a consistent aggro deck. But I really think Warrior and Priest are really stuck in their roles. I think everyone else has aggro versions, mid-range versions, control versions. So.
I do want to go back. I think might have been last show. This set, if it truly is the old gods, old, and embraces the old world of World of Warcraft lore, one of the very first, at least on Alliance side, elite kind of bosses that you face when you're in the old world of World of Warcraft was Hogger. And the Hogger card back just came out, or was released.
It was announced. Yeah.
So,
yeah,
Hogger set.
Well, I don't know about Hogger set, but yeah, I think when you look at it, there's something to be said for bringing some of that flavor back. But you can also start to see that flavor in some really interesting and neat card backs if they decide to go with this set. A lot like you saw the sort of the gnomish and goblin card backs for the goblins versus gnomes. You could come up with some really creepy, right up Avanti's alley style card backs come out. So, aside from the Nefarian card back and the heroic Nax card back, I mean, they really haven't, in my opinion, explored that icky side of the card backs. This gives them the opportunity to kind of to really appeal to those monster lovers out there.
I don't think I've heard anybody think of this. I just had a thought. The card back go for completing rank 20 in the month of March is the Riverpaw card back.
Yeah.
And Riverpaw was the clan, the tribe that Hogger was head of.
Yep.
That whole tribe, including Hogger, was a member of the Defias Brotherhood.
That's true.
Maybe we'll see a new tribe in Hearthstone of maybe bandits, or
maybe,
because that would be really neat and kind of embracing that old world lore, and it could include cards like Van Cleef and a lot of rogue cards, and it would kind of fall in line with what you said, where you think that the rogue class may be highlighted and made a little stronger, and made kind of instead of being a spell heavy combo class, maybe give it a little bit of a minion swarm kind of mentality meta to it.
Almost like a mid-range feel. The ability to ramp and have a nice curve. Because right now I think they're kind of stuck. They're stuck on an early curve, and then you move to sort of a late game curve. This would give them the opportunity to provide that mid-game curve that really prevents Rogue from being, I feel like, a sought-after class. I feel like a lot of people think Rogue is a little too complicated to play unless you're playing at a high level.
Yeah, so going along this, we got the Explorer's hat in the last LOE. Could we see the red bandana?
Yes.
Oh, I hope so.
Forbin in the chat room said red bandanas. That would be great with death rattle effects.
Yeah, that
so
would be
cool.
interesting. Oh, so I'm really excited about the possibilities of actually seeing not just old world, but like the old gods, because there's been a lot of talk about Cthulhu, especially, and a lot of the hints, like you had mentioned just a minute ago, Zeroshio, about the cards that were swapped out on the website, all kind of point to those old gods, those tentacle, giant monsters that you have to fight in some of the dungeons. And
what was it? AQ40 had that big eye monster.
Yeah,
yes.
That was actually Cthulhu.
My wife was
wasn't
mentioning that to me. Was that Cthulhu?
I'm pretty sure. It's been a long time since I've done AQ40, but Encourage. All right. Anyway, so I really think that, and I'm gonna call out Disguised Toast because he actually brought this theory to the forefront, and he's the one that's made a lot out of this. Now, most everybody's talking about it because of his speculation, and it could be completely off. We could be so far out in right field that we don't see what they actually do. They throw us a curveball and surprise us all. But
we don't talk about that on this show.
Yeah. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens. Whatever it is, we had talked about the size of this expansion, and
huge.
Even Ben Brode had said it was going to be larger than other expansions. Well, that got me thinking. I've been digging around a lot in my Magic cards this week. I pulled them out of the closet. I got to looking at them. All of the last 4 major sets, like base sets, which is what this is going to be, have all been 249 cards on the Magic side. That's the size of their base sets. Their expansion sets run about 149 cards, about 100 cards less. So if we get 250 new cards out of this Hearthstone expansion, that's going to be huge. And if we get another 249, say the expansion, fall/winter, whenever it releases, we could be looking at a good pool to build from going forward.
And this will allow in 2017 for them to do things like rotate cards out of the classic set for balancing, because then they'll have a large enough pool. And I think the exact words Ben Brode used on Twitter was the next expansion is going to be huge. Okay? If somebody is giving me a cheeseburger and they say, and I love food analogies, sorry, and they say, this cheeseburger that I'm making for you is going to be huge, I should expect it to be twice as big as a normal cheeseburger. That's just my mentality. If it's huge, it should be twice as big. Our sets right now are about 145 cards. That would put it right around the 300 card, 290, 300. They like to be just a little off, probably something like 297. I think that's what we're looking at. We're going to look close between the 275 and 300 mark.
Go ahead, Forsika.
I was just saying, I think everyone is way too concerned over the amount of cards that we're going to have. I think that after 2 expansions and 3 adventures, I think they have a pretty good idea of what they need as far as the number of cards that they need in order to balance the set. And I think by now they have a fair enough amount of data to really see out of the existing cards that we have how many cards are actually played. And I know that I would rather see a great quality in my card selection rather than a big quantity. Meaningful cards, so that I don't open a pack and find 5 cards that I would never use, much less open 4 or 5 packs and find 25 cards that I would never use. And that happened to me a lot in TGT. It actually happened a little bit in Goblins versus Gnomes. So I'm not so much worried, and I don't think other people should be so much worried about the number of cards that you're going to have. I think there's going to be plenty of cards to choose from. I think that they've got more information, they've got the math, they've got the statistics, and I think to speculate on this at this point, I think people are making way too big a deal over the number of cards that we're going to have.
I'm going to respectfully disagree, and this is why. The number really is important, especially when the set first comes out. Because if it's a smaller set, or I even think if it's the same size set they've been doing at 145 cards, when people start doing the mass pack openings and whatnot, everybody's going to get the cards pretty quick that are important to get. And then you're just going to have the same run-of-the-mill, handful of decks, probably 1 per class that gets played on the ladder, and there's going to be no variation, and we're going to run into the exact same problem we've had with seeing nothing but Patron Warrior, nothing but Freeze Maid, nothing but Combo Druid on the ladder or in tournaments. A larger pool makes people have to change up their decks a bit because they may not have gotten the cards they did after opening 40 packs, 50 packs to make the popular decks. And it also allows people to go, well, this is a popular deck, and these are the cards that I need for those decks, but I have a great deck idea with cards that aren't being used, and you need those variations of cards. I want people to make a Paladin deck and not go, well, I need to put these 12 cards in, let me fill in the rest of the 18. I want there to be 33, 34 solid cards where they go, wow, what type of Paladin deck do I want to make? And pick the cards needed for that style and then fill in the gaps. And that will give what I believe I want, and I think what you want, Versika, is that more variable Oh, I'm queued up against a mage. Well, I know it's one of two decks. I'm queued up against a rogue. It's probably, just oil rogue. You want that variable. You want that unpredictability, and that comes with having a larger card pool.
Well, once again, I will agree to respectfully disagree with you there, because what in the history of the two expansions that we've already seen would make you think that they would give us enough cards, enough meaningful cards, regardless of the amount of cards and the total amount of the set, to achieve that type of diversity? They're not going to. And the reason why is because we have another expansion coming at the end of the year, and to offer so many great cards at the beginning would either neuter that set or force them to power creep later. So I think you have to look at this not as one expansion, but you're going to have to look at it in conjunction with TGT. They're going to have to figure out a way to make more of these cards useful to begin with. So you take it into account that it's supposed to be used in conjunction with TGT, with the two adventures that are staying in line, and with the classic set. And then you also have another expansion and another adventure that are going to be worked in this year. If you give too many cards right off the bat, then you either do one of two things. Either that set doesn't have enough meaningful cards to make it worth having that number of cards. So what I'm saying is, in order to make it to where you don't power creep the adventure and the other expansion, and you don't completely obliterate TGT, you have to strike that balance between finding the right number of meaningful cards versus how powerful you want to make these cards, because you have two more things that you need to bring out this year, not counting the 3 that you're going to bring out the following year. So they have a lot on their plate, a lot that they have to take into account as far as balance goes, and making it work with the existing set and the 2 that they've got coming out. So I think with that first set, if you keep it a little bit lower, it gives you more options in your adventure and your second expansion to kind of tweak the meta and allow them to drive it into more diversity, because you're not going to face diversity with this expansion.
And let's talk about options and diversity.
Yeah.
Because something Blizzard announced this week that they're bringing in with the next patch is something called deck recipes, where you're going to be able to go into your collection manager, click on create a deck, and then they're going to give you some options. They're going to give you like 3 options, one of which is going to be a classic style deck, and then you're going to have 2 like what they're calling themed decks that you can pre-build, that they've basically built for you, that you can click on and say, I want to play this deck on the ladder or in Tavern Brawl or whatever, and it'll auto build that deck for you, and then it'll highlight in gray cards that you might be missing, and you can click on those, and then the new and improved, in quotation marks, card suggestion will give you options to replace those cards you don't have. So it's really like they're trying to kind of, with newer players, kind of push them into more deck building, but also, this way they're giving you options if, say, you want to just go, oh, well, it's whatever Tavern Brawl again this week, I'm going to play Murloc Shaman. I'm just going to click this, click play, and go. Do you guys think this will help or hurt overall? Versika, we'll start with you.
I'm on the fence with this. I think if it's used properly, I think that this will be a tremendous tool for teaching people how to build decks. I guess it's the cynic in me, but just based on what I've seen from behavior of the current Hearthstone meta, I believe that this will be used as a crutch. And I think in the end, it will probably further the inability for people to have the desire, not only the capacity, but the desire to go out and innovate their own decks.
This is a tool that Blizzard is thinking about putting in the game, and I'll go into that a little bit more in just a second. They're thinking about putting it in the game because they know the majority of the players net deck. This is net decking. They're taking popular decks that have proven they work on the ladder. They may not be perfect, and there may be a learning curve to them, but they're taking decks they know work on the ladder, and they're just giving you access to them in the client. I think this is going to be good for newer players, and the skilled students or scholars of Hearthstone are going to use this to their advantage. One of the first things I'm going to do is go through this tool and get an idea of what all the decks have in them from each of the classes, so that I can quickly identify when I'm playing against on the ladder if I see one of these pre-built decks, therefore giving me an advantage as a more seasoned player. That may not be their full intent, and I think if they were happy with this and they really were like, this is what we're doing, this is going to be perfect for the game, they would have waited till Friday to announce this. I think they went ahead and gave us this little teaser about what they're going to be announcing and part of the patch to gauge our response. And if it got nothing but inflammatory response, they probably would come out Friday and say, we thought about it and we've decided not to do that. But I think so far, majority of the response on this has been positive. I have seen some negative, but the majority of the response has been positive. I am going to embrace it, as I think it's going to be part of the game. I'm going to use the tool in both directions, as both playing against it and playing with it. And I'm looking forward to it.
Yeah, I think it'll be really interesting. I looked at the Malagos rogue deck that they had, that they showed us, and I was actually talking to Matt at Arms, our guest from last week, about it, and he and I were discussing it, and he had mentioned that outside of 2 Burgles being in the deck, it looks like a pretty standard run-of-the-mill Mally rogue. And so, it's like you said, it's a net deck pretty much, and some of us here at Hero Power have our thoughts on net decking. And if you'd like to know what those thoughts are, there's a new article that just went up this week called "Not All That Glitters Is Gold." Go read it on HeroPowerHS.com. It's got some really good insights about net decking versus building your own or tweaking net decks. Snowflaking, that's the term I was trying to remember. Yeah, so go check it out, and it'll give you a little more insight into deck building.
One more thing I want to...
I really do.
One more thing I want to mention on this is a lot of your Magic players have actually been asking for something like this, and they may not have all realized this is what they've been asking for. They've been wanting Blizzard to do some way that you can maybe buy a pack of cards or a deck of cards that's, World Champion Firebat's deck, or, things like that. That would be really hard after somebody's already bought a collection and has most of those cards. This allows them later, after maybe BlizzCon, to rotate in some of the World Championship decks, maybe one from every class. Definitely whoever the champion was, their 4 decks that they bring in will get, if that's the format, will get put in there and probably be named those specific championship decks.
That's a good point. That's a very good point. Yeah.
So this is really a good marketing tool going down the road. It's not obviously anything they're probably going to highlight right now. Some of those decks in there are probably decks from BlizzCon winners or, qualifier winners and things like that. But I think going on, at least with this BlizzCon going forward, you're probably going to see decks rotate in there that are specifically named for those winners.
To just reiterate, though, I agree with both of you. I do think this is going to be a great tool for beginners. I think for a lot of people who struggle with deck creation, I think this is going to be a great way for them to see how a deck is supposed to work from the ground up. It's hard when you look on a side and you read about the mulligan and you look at it and you're just like, I don't know, maybe I should put that card in, maybe I should take this card out. Playing these decks the way that they're designed, I think will teach better fundamentals. And I think in the long run, for the beginning player, I think that this is going to be a useful tool. It's just whether they let it go or not as they progress, I think, will be the challenge.
Yeah, I agree. So, also this week, the Hearthstone subreddit has been going wild with speculations. It's not just been Disguised Toast and some of the others, but
Reddit has speculations?
I know.
Oh, breaking news.
Right? So, there was some data mining going on, and there is some ideas of what we might see announced on Friday. And that includes three new hero portraits. Does anybody remember hero portraits? They gave us Hunter, they gave us Warrior, and they gave us Mage, and then forgot about the other 6 classes?
I don't think they forgot about it.
But it's been almost a year.
It has. It has been almost a year.
It has, and maybe this is precedence. Maybe once a year we'll see 3. And eventually we might have 3 per class and 4 per class. There's a lot of work that goes into these hero portraits. A lot of people think, oh, it's just art assets. No, there's not just simple art assets. There's a lot of art assets, and there's also a lot of voice work that goes into these. And these 3 datamined were actually found from I think they were back in February. A site found these sound clips. They're voiceover work for these 3 heroes. For Paladin, it's Lady Liadrin. For Priest is Tyrande Whisperwind. I know you're excited about that, Avanis. You're a big Tyrande fan.
Yeah.
And then for Rogue is Maeve.
Maeve Shadow Song.
And BlizzPro did an article on this, and they have it really well organized. And we put it in the show notes. You can check it on our website over at heropowerhs.com once we put this show up there. But there are a couple of YouTube videos that were done up for these by Fullest Games. And basically, these aren't official from Blizzard. They look very official, but they are not official from Blizzard. What they've done is they've taken the art assets they could find of these heroes and kind of mocked up what they think it would look like. And they've taken these data mined voiceover work that they found and put it into it. And they did one for Maeve and one for Tyrande. And they actually look really good. If this is anything like it would end up looking like, I'm excited for them. I know I'm not a huge Horde player, but Lady Liadrin, depending how they do it, I'm a big Paladin player, and I will probably buy the Tyrande one.
Yeah, there was also some card names that got picked out of the data mining, and again, these are all just speculation, but one of them kind of stood out, and that was Captain Scaleblade.
Mm-hmm.
Now, Captain Scaleblade is a 7-mana 4/6 Warlock card, and
let me clarify this. The 7-mana 4/6 Warlock card was the existing card that they had, according to Ben Brode, that they cut from TGT.
Yes.
So the data mining just found the name of Captain Scaleblade. This, the stats and whatnot are what Ben Brode kind of
Brode said they cut it out of TGT, and he didn't really give a reason. Well, he said for balance reasons, and the speculations were that it would have probably been way too overpowered or even broken with certain interactions between Nax or GVG cards. And so now that those are rotating out, it might be the time to release that card with this new expansion.
And based on the photo and the card name, that would be a Warlock pirate. I would assume.
That's kind of what it looks like.
It has the tribe nameplate on the bottom, but it's empty from what they showed us before, Ben Brode. So it'd be neat to see these tribes kind of spill over into other classes. I'm kind of excited. Another card that was in there is Khadgar. And Khadgar is one of my favorite heroes from World of Warcraft. And he goes back to the old world time frame in that lore. and he was a mage. I would expect him to be a legendary mage card, but he was bad. He was awesome.
He was the one that opened the dark portal.
That's right, and he was a bad dude.
So we could see some really interesting stuff.
I thought Medivh opened the dark portal.
Yeah.
That's right. Khadgar is Medivh's.
Right?
Yeah. Okay. Khadgar is Medivh's assistant.
Open the portal. Khadgar is the one that brought everybody to Draenor.
Yes.
And set up shop and closed it from the Draenor side.
Yeah. He basically opened the red portal.
See, this is what happens when I don't play WoW in 2 years. I forget this stuff.
This is why you keep me around.
That's right. Exactly. All right. So, lots of cool stuff to look forward to on Friday, guys. If you get a chance, tune in. I know I will. I can't wait. This week's Tavern Brawl is a repeat of one that we have seen in the past. It is Randomonium. Now, I know a lot of people have been posting saying, this is a one and done Tavern Brawl for them. Personally, for me, this is one of my favorites. Basically, you just choose a class, and it's their pre-built decks, and every turn your card costs are completely randomized. And I think that's one of the things I enjoy about it, is you never know what you're going to get. I had one game where I had nothing I could play until turn 4. I had another game where I had an Iron Juggernaut out on turn 2. So, it's for me, it's interesting. It keeps it going. I just like the complete mystery of not knowing what you're going to get until you get it. Zero, what are your thoughts on this Tavern Brawl?
I like this one. It's really good for me to complete quests because whenever I have to win as a certain class quest, I can just queue up and I have just as equal chance to win as my opponent. It is a bit random. I will say this though. Every time they put out a repeat of the crossroads, all of the repeat ones are some form of have the word crossroads. It's an encounter of the crossroads. All the encounter at the crossroads tavern brawls usually signify they're really working on something. And in this case, they're working on the stuff for the announcement on Friday. And it could also mean that they're working on things for a pretty quick release. So I still stand that we may see the next set in 2 weeks.
I'm still thinking it might be as early as April 1st. But, Versika, thoughts?
I hate it.
There it is. Woo!
I do. I really dislike this Tavern Brawl, and it's because I respectfully have to disagree with Zeroshio on this one. I don't think that this is even at all. In fact, one of the games I won today, on turn 1, I laid a Kel'Thuzad. On turn 2, I laid Ironbark Treefolk. On turn 3, I laid a second Kel'Thuzad, and I proceeded to beat the pants off of the poor mage on the other side, who had absolutely no way. There was no way he could deal with it. The game was technically over on turn 3. We played it out till I dealt my 30 plus points of damage to him. But from all the time, I'm 3-3 now. I think I was 2-2 when you were over talking to me earlier, Patrick.
Yeah.
In the end, I feel like it's a race to see who gets the biggest creature out first. So it's totally random as to what you have in your hand and what its casting cost is. There's no. It is a lesson in adaptability, but there's no strategy to it. You have to deal with what your opponent throws down, and if they get something bigger than you first, and you don't have anything, you can't draw anything to handle it. You're just out of luck. And
Hold on a second. I'm doing some math, and I said you had an equal amount of chance to win as your opponent, right?
Right.
Here's the 3-3.
That would mean you have a 50% chance to win. If you're 3-3, then my logic is sound.
No. Not really.
Here's the thing.
And that's the thing. If you're looking at total number of games, then yes. But if you're looking, and this is my thought. Tavern Brawl is supposed to be fun, but what is fun about getting beaten down by 2 Kel'Thazods and 4 Iron Folk, Tree Folk, or 4
It's a
Iron
great
Bark?
story.
It's a great story.
I enjoy it. I enjoy telling stories about how I got beat down. My thought's this.
It made me feel dirty. I had to get up and take a break.
This Tavern Brawl is like 2 people being told to roll 20-sided dice at the same time, equal number of intervals, and seeing who gets 20 the most. You both have an equal chance. Now, one might occasionally get more than the other, but you have an equal chance of as long as you have the same criteria. In this Tavern Brawl, both players get random cards, just random costs. One person might be a little outbalanced one game, but the next game you'll be outbalanced. I mean, when it comes down to it, you expect to win 50% of your games.
It was a waste of 3 hours of my life.
3 hours to play 6 games? Wow. Those were bad games.
Just in general, researching it, looking at it. I researched the decks, saw what people were playing. We do this segment, so, if there's a class that has a particular advantage over another, I'd like to talk about it on the show. Yeah. Especially if someone who's having a hard time getting their one win to get their pack. I'd like to be able to give them the hint. Like, last week's Tavern Brawl, Warrior, I felt like was really strong. And I actually, I tweeted about it. A couple of people asked me about it while I was playing. A couple of people spectated how I was playing the Tavern Brawl, and it enabled them to win. And I felt like I contributed something, and I felt good about what we were doing there. There's no helping anybody in this week's. It's all based purely on luck.
It's all on that roll of the die.
Yeah, and I will agree with you. It is a straight crapshoot. Yeah. You don't know what you're gonna get. And I find it exciting.
Yeah, that's the part of Hearthstone that I really I don't like. I never have really liked the RNG, and I think if it's too RNG, then it just becomes you may as well just, like you said, shoot craps. You may as well go to the roulette wheel and just.
And that's where we differ. I love the RNG of Hearthstone. I think it's a great. I love watching where the juggles go or where the bombs go. I love that.
That's I like matching wits with my opponents, and
well, I don't have as much of that as you do, so.
Yeah, well, and that's one thing you can say about this Tavern Brawl is it's fast. By turn 3 whether you've got a chance or you don't, and you can either win in a couple turns or concede and move on to the next game and play the next one. And again, it's quick. So
yeah,
I played. I think I've got 4 wins right now. 2 as a rogue, 2 as a warrior, because I'm working on dailies, and I've got to win a couple more as a warrior, and then move over and win a couple as a paladin. So, and Matt at Arms, who was on the show last week, just joined us in chat, and he said, turn 1 Tyrion is kind of an insta win. So paladin is really good this week.
Well, I don't want anyone to think that this sours my taste for Tavern Brawl. I truly believe that there's enough room in Hearthstone for everyone who likes Hearthstone to play it the way that they want to play it. Mm-hmm. This is simply not the way I like to play the game, so this is not the Tavern Brawl for me. The only reason I played as many games as I did today was for the show tonight. It would have been a one and done for me had we not been talking about it.
Gotcha. All right, so that brings us to this week's standard eulogy. Each week you guys have been tuning in, and we've been playing a eulogy submitted to us by listener AC. Basically, these are all cards that we are losing to the standard format. This week, let us mourn.
Dearly beloved, tonight we remember not only a great warrior, but also great crusader for women's rights. She showed power and strength. Well, technically Shield Maiden was a dwarf, so what's the right word for a female dwarf? Dwarfette? Dwoman? Sven! Did you get the official word on that? You're kidding. Little Women, that's very funny. Give me that. Francis Crusader for Little Women. Stop snickering. You can gloat later. This Crusader was often derided when she first came on the scene. She was seen as high maintenance, an expensive date, if you will. But warriors soon saw the value of paying an extra mana to have a Shield Maiden toss him a hulking 5 armor shield. Fellow warriors, Shield Maiden took the hit for us, time after time. But I'm afraid even she couldn't take this last, final hit from Standard. Beware, my friends. The Standard format can take out even this stalwart companion. I shudder to wonder who may be next.
Oh, Shield Maiden. This one I will miss.
Oh yeah.
So she was pretty standard in my Control Warrior deck. So yeah, we'll have to find some alternatives.
Yeah, and that opens up that 6 slot. I think you're going to start seeing some warriors put Sylvanas back in, and you're going to start seeing that Shield Slam Sylvanas combo. Oh, that's...
Or maybe even Karen Bloodhoof.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
With the
Looking
loss
forward
of
to
of
it.
Piloted Shredder.
Yeah, I've actually started seeing Karen a lot.
Yeah, because everybody's wanting to put in replacements for Pilot of Sky Golem, which is that 6 slot, card that kind of took the place of where Karen would be, and also Piloted Shredder. It's a sticky minion, and it's a big body.
Yep.
Hard for Priest to deal with in this Priest control meta. That 4/5 with the Death Rattle of summoning another 4/5. It's hard for them to deal with.
There are going to be a lot less targets for the Entomb, though. So Karen, because you can only put one in the deck, it'll be the next Entomb target.
Yeah. All right. So let's move on to this week's deck that we are discussing. This week we are looking at Paladin. It's the last. This is week 9 of this cycle of decks. So Paladin is the last one we haven't actually talked about, and we got to talking earlier about what we could do to really kind of wring this Paladin out on a note. And the most fun I think we've talked about with Paladin is the Anyfin Paladin. And this deck is been a lot of fun on ladder. This deck is actually the one that won our February Tavern Brawl here in Knoxville, played by Concealed. He was kind enough to submit the deck list to us so that we could talk about it. And so I'm going to give you the rundown on what's in the deck, and then we will discuss it. So Concealed's Anyfin Paladin deck is 1 Humility, 2 Equality, 2 Bluegill Warriors, 2 Doomsayers, 1 Loot Hoarder, 2 Wild Pyromancers, 1 Acolyte of Pain, 2 Aldor Peacekeepers, 2 Murloc War Leaders, 2 True Silver Champions, 2 Consecrations, Old Murkai, 2 Solemn Vigil, 2 Antique Killbot, 2 Sludge Belcher, 2 Lay on Hands, and 2 Anyfin Can Happen. So, obviously, the point of this deck is to get your Murlocs on the board and get them dead. Because once they're dead, they can be resummoned by Anyfin. If you're not familiar with Anyfin, it's 10 mana, summon up to 7 Murlocs that died this game. So if you in this deck you've got 2 Bluegill Warriors, 2 Murloc War Leaders, and Old Murkai. So that's a total of 5 Murlocs in the deck. So you want to get them out, you want to get them dead so that you can bring them back and rush. Because both the bluegills and Murk-Eye have charge. So that's really kind of your primary kill mechanic here. Zero, you have any other analysis for us or any insights for this deck?
This is a fun deck. You definitely have to play this very controlly until you can get that. You can't win before turn 10, really. It's very uncommon. I mean, obviously you get good draws and your opponent doesn't get good draws and you probably could pull it off, but you're really hoping on that turn 10 to drop the Anyfin and do the last bit of damage you need to win the game. That's pretty much it. So you play this more like a control-y, maybe a little mid-rangey with board control. But I when I play this deck, I play it like I do Control Paladin.
Versika, thoughts?
Yeah, I agree. You have to play it like control, plan on winning on turn 10 or after. I made 2 changes to the deck. I took out the Loot Hoarder and the Acolyte of Pain and actually put in 2 of the Kodos to use in conjunction with Outdoor Peacekeeper and Humility to get rid of some of the bigger targets since you don't have a big game hunter. You have to be really careful with your equality and wild pyro combos, so you can pretty much clear the board twice there. Don't be afraid to put a Doomsayer down on an empty board. Just stall your opponent. Anything you can do to break the tempo.
Okay, yeah, it's a super fun deck. Mad at Arms in chat says it is good against most other control matchups. So, you're going to be able to kind of control the board enough to get out your threats and pressure them down. So, all right. We are...
One more thing.
Go ahead, Zeroshia.
For our audio listeners, before we get to the play portion, I want to kind of go ahead and promote next week. We have our episode 20 next episode, and we have a big episode planned. We did a joint episode back in episode 10 with Legend of the Innkeeper. We're going to try to keep that trend going as long as we can. Find other hosts that want to do it, and we have the hosts of Hearth Coach, Frid and Dan, are planning to join us next week on episode 20. So please come check out our live show. Definitely catch us on the download. We're going to kind of have a little bit of a lesson from Frid. Let him kind of show us how to run a deck like they do on their show. It's going to be a lot of fun.
Yeah, I'm really looking forward to hanging out with those guys. So, with that said, if you are joining us on Twitch or YouTube, please stay tuned for the live play portion of our show. If you are listening via the audio podcast, we'd like to thank you for joining us. Remember, you can follow us on Twitter at HeroPower_cast, and you can find all of our past episodes on YouTube at youtube.com/ECMMOGamers or on our website at HeroPowerHS.com. If you enjoy the show, you can help support and improve it by joining our Patreon at patreon.com/HeroPower. And as always, we'll see you again next week.
And guys, as we're switching over into the play portion of our show, I just wanted to take a second to talk about Viforce again. At the beginning of the show, we talked about what they did. Right now, I really want to talk about how they do it. One of the great things that we really like about Viforce is that they walk you through the process of creating your computer. So, previously, if you want to build your own computer, what you had to do is you had to go to a direct site to buy your parts. You had to buy the parts and components individually, have them all shipped to your home, and then you had to try and put the computer together yourself. And while that's great for very technically minded people, because I know Patrick has done this in the past. And did you build your computer, James? Or did you buy it?
No, I bought mine. I kind of bought just a pre-built, and then I kind of just upgraded it here and there. It was a lot of work, and it was very cumbersome. And I didn't want to do it, but it's what I had to do for the cost.
Right, and that's really where Viforce comes in. Viforce will walk you through the process from conception to the end. So let's say that you're looking to buy a gaming PC and you have a particular game that you want to play. If you get in touch with Viforce from the very beginning, they'll walk you through the process of this is what you want to play. Well, this is your budget. Well, this is what you can have. This is what we can do for you to get you there. So what that will do is it will keep you from paying for too much of a machine if that's not what's needed, and it'll keep you from buying too little of a machine. It will also keep you from buying parts that are not exactly working well together. So it's from conception to completion, and it's done with complete transparency. So visit their site, viforcegaming.com, give them a chance, and I think you'll be really happy with it.
All right, guys. So we started our opening hand with an Anyfin Can Happen and 2 antique killbots. So we went ahead and threw those back. What we have now is a Wild Pyromancer, a Sludge Belcher, a Doomsayer, and 2 Murloc War Leaders.
With the coin, that's not bad.
With the coin. So, all right, guys, what are your thoughts?
I think it's too early to coin out Doomsayer. I would say just pass and plan the Doomsayer next turn.
Yep.
Because it looks like it could maybe be a zoo.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The opening Leper Gnome tells me zoo.
Yeah, highly unlikely they're going to be able to do 7 damage, especially now that they tap. So.
Now, okay, do we Doomsayer or we go ahead and kill off our Bluegill now that we got him?
I would kill off the Bluegill.
Yeah, that's
of course,
what I was thinking.
remember that the further you get into this, the harder it is going to be to Doomsayer.
Yeah. But one of the main goals of this deck is to make sure your Murlocs die.
Yes.
Some of the tricky matchups are definitely Priest because they can steal a lot of your stuff. This looks like a great Doomsayer turn. In this matchup, I would probably save Pyromancer for when he does something like a Implosion.
Yeah, and I'm thinking probably at this point you can put your War Leader out there, get a little bit of value from it, and then we can save that Doomsayer to play after a Pyro Equality combination to buy us yet another turn.
That's fair, and going ahead and getting these out real quick may help us if we can get most, if not all, of our Murlocs out by turn 9. We can surprise them with a coin, Anyfin, if we draw it.
Right, and there you go. That's a great example of something that you want to draw out early because that's a big way that they take out your Doomsayers. And those Doomsayers, you want your Murlocs to die. You don't want your Doomsayers to die.
We're going to throw out another War Leader just to get...
I think so.
Okay. Because it threatens to kill that Voidwalker, and that's really... He wants to keep that Voidwalker up as much as possible to protect anything else he puts out.
I'm really surprised that we haven't seen more. If it's Zoo, I would think he'd be filling the board right now unless he just had a really lousy hand.
This could be a Malagos lock.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. So I'm thinking probably throw out the Sludge Belcher here and clear the... Yeah.
Okay.
And this Belcher and even the Slime can protect the Doomsayer if he doesn't put out too much this turn.
Now is really his turn. If he has low casting cost stuff, he needs to put it out now. So yeah, there you go. This is most definitely a Malagos lock.
Yeah.
So do you think we Doomsayer to clear the board except for our 1/2 Taunter?
Well, he'll obviously kill off that Sludge Belcher so the 1/2 dies.
I'm trying to remember how many owls does the Malagos lock run? Is it 1 or 2?
Most of them I've seen's 1.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
And we could bait out an owl so that Sludge Belcher. But if he had an owl, I think he would have already thrown it up to kill off the War Leader with his Azure Drake. And if it gets too hairy, we have Wild Pyromancer and Equality.
That's true.
I'm almost wanting to bait out a little more removal though. I'd almost be tempted to throw out the outdoor peacekeeper on that tar in there and go ahead and
Do we
pop
go
the
ahead and
shield.
Doomsayer, or
I think I would go ahead and just pop the shield
okay?
and then Doomsayer next turn.
And of course, don't forget to use your hero power.
Absolutely.
Here we go. And see, now he can't just run that Sunwalker into the slime. Oh, that is a mistake.
He's going to be real unhappy.
Yeah.
All right. So how do you guys want to do it?
Well,
We can. There are a couple ways we can skin this cat. We can Wild Pyromancer and Consecrate, doing 3 damage to everything. Use our War Leader to finish off the Sunwalker, and then use the Peacekeeper to finish off the Mistress, leaving us with a Pyromancer. Or we can just Wild Pyro and Equality.
What about Equality Consecrate?
That works too, yeah.
Clear
yeah.
his board and leave our 2-3 attack minions.
You think of that,
okay with
Rosika?
I'm all right with it. I think we need to. What are we at? We're at 8.
Yeah.
I think we follow it with the Doomsayer.
Okay. Yeah, that's a good idea. I like that. Consecrate, attack, and then Doomsayer.
Yep. I know it seems really weird to Doomsayer while you have board control, but this will prevent him from playing anything this turn if he can't get rid of the Doomsayer.
True. If we don't draw anything of crazy value next turn, I'm almost considering a Wild Pyro Acolyte and just use the coin for the 1 damage.
Yeah.
What?
That was an interesting use of a Dark Bomb.
Makes me think he has an owl.
Think he's just BMing us a little bit? No.
Yeah.
Or he just doesn't know.
So,
Lay on hands to draw cards?
I've done crazier.
Because really what we need to do is we need to draw.
Yeah, I agree. And it gives us more there's an Anyfin. Okay.
There's an Anyfin. Now, right now, we only have 1 Bluegill and 2 War Leaders in our stack.
correct.
And that makes up for 6 points of damage. If my math's right.
Yeah, we really need to get to our Murkai.
Because War Leader gives them 2-1. Isn't that right?
Yes. All right. So turn 10. What do you guys think here?
I think I lay Wild Pyro, Coin, Humility, and use the True Silver to finish that guy off. We don't want him on the board.
Okay, I see.
I think there's enough. There's enough to Acolyte there too.
Okay.
Yeah.
So
So
Acolyte, lay the
Wild
Pyro,
Pyro, then Acolyte,
Coin,
then Coin,
Humility.
and then
True
True
Silver.
Silver and kill it. There's a good eye on that, Versika. It's kind of a complex turn.
yeah, that was a good call.
I like that. Ooh. That is a big guy.
So I would say run the Acolyte into the 6/8.
Draw a card.
See what we get. Go ahead and Solemn Vigil.
Okay. Oh, there we go. Sludge Belcher?
Yeah. I think you
Then
pretty
do we-
much have to Sludge Belcher.
Do we just save the charge?
Yeah.
Okay.
We may end up having to take that 6 on the face, but
Don't want to do it now.
yeah.
Okay.
There's a silence.
That's fine.
Yeah, this could be a Reno lock.
Could be. Which Anyfin's not bad against because of the burst. We don't want to lay a hands because it will saturate our handle too. We'll be at 9 cards.
Right. I'm thinking we probably...
What do you think of running our face into the 6/7, finishing it off with the sludge,
Anti-Killbot.
anti-killbot into loot hoarder,
Yeah.
and then
What you
hero
think?
power?
Yeah.
I mean, we could anti-killbot into loot hoarder into Doomsayer to make them have to clear the Doomsayer.
Right, but he's only got one more. He would only have to do one more damage to it.
That's true, but it wouldn't kill off our 3/3 or 2/1.
Right, but then he's just going to Mortal Coil it. I say let him clear this with what he's got on the board in
Okay.
Doomsayer next turn.
So hero power,
Yeah.
pass.
He seems pretty intent on clearing the board. I think
Yeah.
he'll continue to do so.
Gruel.
He is really going about the face. Love and equality. Oh, that's good. That's a good draw.
So Aldor Peacekeeper, Doomsayer, go to face with this 3.
You draw first. Hit it with the Loot Hoarder first.
Yeah.
See what we get. Second Anyfin. Okay. Yeah, Outdoor Peacekeeper, Doomsayer.
Then do we go ahead and True Silver?
Yeah, I would say go ahead and True Silver. Highly doubtful he's running Harrison.
Will we run the face so we can get the heal?
Yep.
Okay. Or yeah, that's fine.
Yeah.
Either way works. The heal's not at this point. We still have the lay of hands, so yeah, he's just gonna concede the death.
Yeah.
We're getting rid of a lot of big threats. There we
There's
go.
our other equality. So, do you want to go ahead and use one of the Anyfins here?
No. Go ahead
no.
and lay of hands.
Yeah.
This is definitely a lay of hands turn.
Okay.
If this is Reno, he is going to play it slow.
There's
There's your
Murkai.
Murkai.
That's what we need. All we need now is the bluegill.
Yeah. So we've only got one more card. We have to run Murkai into this, and then we just Anyfin after it. Yeah.
Okay, so
go ahead.
this is what I would do. I would go ahead and cast Omurkai, then bluegill. Then I'd run the bluegill in first to kill it off. Then I would equality run in the old Murkai to kill it off, and then go face and don't Solemn's Vigil, hero power.
I don't know if I would go face. You may encourage him to Reno.
Well, he's going. If he's got it, he's going to Reno because
We got him with
he
Anyfin,
realizes
doesn't Reno.
if he yeah, you're right. But we got him in 2 turns. We can handle the damage.
And he
Yep.
doesn't have it, so.
Doesn't have Reno. I can't believe he didn't attack.
I would have
he
sacrificed.
displayed.
I would have sacrificial packed the blood imp if I was him. Yeah, we Anyfin.
Anyfin, absolutely.
And this should be lethal. That's 26 points of damage, if I'm not mistaken. Am I right?
Depends on what we.
22. Sorry. Math is wrong. 22 points of damage.
Yep.
Awesome. Textbook.
Textbook.
Right up the fatigue. And I earned a pack for watching you win.
Thinking that Warlock deck.
I didn't see any duplicates, so it had to have been a Reno. Maybe you didn't draw the Reno.
Maybe.
Because he's got the...
It had all the looks of a Malagos rogue, or Malagos lock early.
It had all the looks of a Dread Steed
Yeah.
Reno deck. A couple different changes with Gruul and whatnot, but seeing the Sacrificial Pack, it really looked like a Dread Steed Reno deck, which has gotten pretty popular lately. There was some show that did a Dread Steed Reno deck. Who was it?
It was an awesome show. I remember that.
I remember their website. It was heropowerhs.com.
All right, so what do we think we want to do here? Do we want to throw back the Consecrate and keep the Peacekeeper and the Doomsayer?
I would just keep the Doomsayer.
Yeah, throw back everything but the Doomsayer.
Yeah. We got another lock. It's that guy.
It is that guy.
I don't know how I feel about that guy. It changes from time to time.
Well, that guy is probably playing a...
This looks like a zoo.
I don't know, because Reno runs Zombie Chow.
Yeah, it does.
So what do you think here? Hero Power or just pass?
I mean, obviously, probably hero. We would at least hero power.
Yeah, hero power and pass.
Yeah.
Half tempted to throw the Doomsayer out early, so you can find out what kind of deck it is.
Want to apologize to Five Force Gaming. The big long word was seen as spam. We apologize.
No.
Yeah. Evidently meets the criteria. So does the word supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, just for the record. Yeah. Do we go ahead and Doomsayer now?
He technically has enough if he's got a Dark Bomb to kill the Doomsayer. So
He does.
it would draw out a Dark Bomb, but it's going to put us behind the 8-ball.
It would draw a Dark Bomb or a Power Overwhelming that he got from the Dark Peddler.
Yeah, I don't think Doomsayer is the play.
I think he's
here.
got too many ways to get rid of it. Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay.
I think we go ahead hero power and pass. If he doesn't clear, and he'll clear the dude. I was gonna say if he doesn't clear the dude, then we can draw off him next turn. But
Oh, my kingdom for a Consecrate. It worked before.
True
that's
Silver.
interesting. Yeah, definitely True Silver.
The Dark Peddler.
Peddler.
Yeah. Because we still want to get the heal value off of Zombie Chow.
Uh-oh.
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 Yeah. Evidently, I hadn't moved too long, so my system went to sleep.
Oh.
Oh. Not enough head shakes.
I guess so.
Disapproving head shakes. What's a 5-drop? Okay.
Acidic Swamp Ooze to kill our weapon.
Oh.
Smart. Some weird sequencing.
Alright, so throw out the War Leader here.
That's the only thing I'm seeing. We could possibly put out a value Pyromancer, knowing this seems to be a zoo deck.
Yeah. I think we go War Leader Hero Power here and see what he runs into.
Okay. Oh. My spectate delayed a little bit, and your end turn button went before your dude came out.
Oh.
I'd be worried for a second. Good sequencing by him. Give us our heal first. Kind of doing things in weird orders. Well, there's a consecrate.
Yeah, now we just need the equality. Alright, so looking at this.
Do we go ahead and antique Healbot?
I think that might not be a bad idea here.
That'll give him something to have to deal with. He'll probably run the Sludge Belcher into it.
Probably.
I think we may have lost for a second.
Yeah, let me see if I can get him back. Okay, so Sludge Belcher Doomsayer.
That's what I would do. He's obviously going to kill off our Sludge Belcher so that it'll leave him with a 1-2, but we have a Consecrate in our hand. So that's not terrible.
Right.
And that's a lot for him to have to work through. Yeah, we're trying to pick Versika back up. Chat, so I appreciate you being patient. All right, let's see here. He's going to tap. Yeah, he obviously wants to go ahead and clear that Sludge Belcher so he doesn't have to deal with the slime that comes out.
Right.
And he'll probably go ahead and get three points to the face. With 4 men, I can't see him pulling off enough to kill a Doomsayer. He can. With the right cards. Yeah, he's going to face. Seemed to have a hard time on that turn.
Yeah. Yeah,
Which
he
is
did.
good.
It threw him off. He didn't know what to do.
This seems like a perfect lay of hands turn.
Well, I'm actually thinking Solemn Vigil since it's only 2 mana.
Yeah, okay. I mean, you're not going to get the heal value, but we could always heal bot if that. And that'll give us a body on the board. Okay, that's good. I like that.
Now I'm thinking Old Murk-Eye into the 1/2.
Yeah, Old Murk-Eye and dude.
Yep.
Definitely. Gives him some presence on the board he has to deal with.
So what do we have Murloc-wise that's died so far this game? Just the War Leader? Is that right?
Yeah, we had one War Leader we put out, right?
Yeah.
So that's it that I know of. Peacekeeper the 6/6. Well, hold on.
Run the 2/2 into the 3/2.
Yes.
Then Peacekeeper and Sludge Belcher.
Yeah, I don't know of any bursts that he can do to do 18. So yeah, Peacekeeper and Sludge Belcher. I do like the idea of putting in the Kodos in here with the Aldors. It's more removal. Though I do like to draw, so.
Equality consecrate.
We can equality consecrate. It leaves our board a little vulnerable. I'd like to be vulnerable with Murlocs on the board.
Yeah.
But equality consecrate, and then dude will clear his board.
We could, yeah. That's probably the best option at this point, I think.
Yep. That what is it, Stalag? The Fugan. That Fugan scares me if we see Stalag come out without any way to clear it. Hopefully we can draw another equality. We will need to use that lay on hands. You know, we got 15 cards. Ain't too bad. Man at Arms says this is definitely Reno. And I think he's right. Versika in chat agrees. Have we tried to add him back? Have we tried to add him back to the call?
I just sent an invite, so.
Okay. Ogre Brute. Do we Aldor Peacekeeper the one he can control the 4/5?
I think that might not be a bad idea. I think we go. Should we go face first?
Yeah. I mean, it's not going to change much. He can kill what's on our board with it, but it at least gives us a body. And we can go ahead and heal with the antique heal bot.
I would Anyfin.
Well,
I think
we haven't had enough die for anything.
Yeah, we only have one war leader and old Murkai.
We have you back, Versika? Maybe.
There's the Reno.
Yep. It's actually not terrible.
And
there's a bluegill.
So I'm thinking bluegill.
Well, if we wonder what we can ping down enough that if we wild Pyromancer or lay a hand, well, lay a hands only gives us 5. Yeah, we'll need to use the bluegill to clear some. Bluegill the 4/3 with a dude.
Yeah, we can do that.
Then dude the 2/1. I would Aldor the 1/2 and go face with the heal bot because the 4/6 Reno is not that threatening right now.
Yeah. Versika, did we ever get you back audio wise?
I don't know.
Yep.
Okay, so now we have a war leader, a bluegill, and old Murkai on the stack for Anyfin.
That gives us 4 from the bluegill and 2, 4, 6 from Murkai.
So that's 10 damage, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's 10 damage.
So what do you think?
You Anyfin to clear, but that puts you having to lay a hands to refill your hand.
That's probably not a bad thing though.
Anything to clear?
That doubles up the Murlocs we have on the stack for the next one.
It means your second Anyfin's gonna have to stick around. But I mean, it's kind of that spot you're in. So.
Yeah. So use the charger to get rid of 6/8 and then the 3/2 into Reno.
You better hurry.
Yeah. And face the dude. There we go. Illidan.
Illidan Storm Rage.
Wow. This isn't terrible because we can. Actually, that's even better. We can run a war leader into Illidan, which gives us another war leader death, and that's good. Then we can.
Wait, don't.
I would Pyromancer, Acolyte, and then Consecrate after we attack with the dude. That'll clear the whole board. What do you think, Versika?
I think you need to run the 1/1 into his face first.
Oh, yeah. Definitely run the 1/1 into the face.
Now, Wild Pyro, Consecrate, or Wild Pyro, Acolyte, Consecrate.
I do that, it's going to kill the war leader before I can kill Illidan.
No, it won't. It only does 1 damage to the war leader.
Oh, you're right.
It's just a different sequence. This is the play I was agreeing to as well. I think was best. But this gives us a chance to see what we draw. Okay. Good. And that True Silver gives us a few more tools to draw into stuff. We will need to use that lay of hands fairly soon because we don't want to have it when we're no cards in our hand. Yes. What do you think of the equality here?
Absolutely. I say equality.
Equality lay on hands to draw cards.
Yeah.
Yeah, that'll give us a total of 4 cards with the Acolyte. Good. Decent life total. There's a second lay of hands, which we really don't need. Oh, and there's the bluegill. But right now we have enough. We should get 2 war leaders.
2 Murk-Eyes and 2 bluegills, I believe.
Yeah, that should be lethal.
Enough for lethal, yeah.
Yeah, it should definitely be lethal. 2, 2, and 2, 6. Yeah, that won't fill our board up. And that's another way you can, if you haven't killed off all of your Murlocs, you can use the first Anyfin to charge up the other one.
So we're all in agreement to Anyfin here?
Yes.
Ooh, there's your sound.
Hey, now we can hear you.
Here we go. GG. Maybe this is a deck I need to be laddering with.
All right, that makes us 2-0. You guys want to play one more?
Sure.
I'm up for one.
Yeah. Yeah, sorry about that. Looks like I had to switch to onboard graphics. Looks like the card finally went, so.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it messed with a bunch of my other settings too, so I'm still trying to.
Well, fortunately, we were able to get you a quality video card ordered from ViforceGaming.com.
Yes,
So,
I'm excited.
As soon as that comes in, that's really going to help you out.
Yep.
They have some really quality hardware.
All right, so do we want to just keep the Doomsayer and the War Leader here and throw back the Belcher, or do you want to keep the whole hand?
I would keep the Doomsayer and the War Leader and throw back the Belcher.
Yeah. Sometimes I would normally throw back the War Leader, but we're facing Warrior, and we really want to have that War Leader so he can waste a charge of Fiery War Axe. Sell out. I got called out by Hubda.
Oh, nice.
It's not.
Shipping to borrow.
You're not a sellout if you love their product.
All right. Hero Power Pass?
Yep. It's Warrior. Chances are pretty good he's either going to A, Fiery War Axe, or B, Armor Up.
It feels bad as a warrior to Fiery War Axe a dude.
Oh.
This could be that new weapon warrior that's very aggro. I would throw out the War Leader.
Yep.
I mean, you're either going to get rid of charge of an axe or you're going to kill off.
No. Run it
Yeah,
into that.
yeah. We're setting it up for the wild pyromancer.
Right.
If we get like a humility. Oh,
Double
my
juggler.
goodness. My goodness. See, that's fine. It doesn't do anything. We're going to kill it off anyways.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
Murka.
Yeah.
Yeah, Murkai kill the 3-1. Use the war leader to kill the 3-2. That's a lot of tools gone. I know there's awesome value with having 2 jugglers out, but to me that's too risky. I wouldn't put 2 jugglers out unless I had a lot of stuff to play.
Well, that tells me he's got a lot of answers in his hands, but doesn't know what the questions are.
Yeah. This is probably going to be a Doomsayer turn. Yeah. What do you think of Doomsayer Loot Hoarder?
Yeah.
We have both Doomsayers in our hands, so we might as well.
Exactly, because that way he goes, okay, I'll stall a turn, and we can do it again if we want to. We've already got 2 key cards that have died. So really just got to get some more and then get to turn 10.
Oh, that's not good.
So do we healbot this turn?
Feels bad, but maybe it'll waste a charge of a weapon. If he had a weapon, he would have already equipped it.
Yeah, I'm thinking healbot just to put a body on the board. We need something to start chinking away at that armor or force him to answer.
Yeah.
So, he's playing this really slow for having such aggressive cards at the opening.
That may have been all he had at the opening. He may be sitting on a bunch of high-end.
That's true.
There's that weapon.
Yep.
Yep. There's an Anyfin. That's good.
All right, what do you think here? We have Doomsayer, Equality, Pyromancer, Antique Killbot that we can play this turn.
Honestly, I think we should probably just dude and pass. Take a little bit to the face. Force him to...
Get ready for a lay of hands.
Yeah. He'll either waste a charge of the axe on the dude, or he'll run the 4-3 into it.
Yeah. Or he'll just go all face.
Which is okay as well. Wow, wasn't expecting that. Okay.
Lay a hand. Oh. It'll put us at 9.
Hmm.
We really
I
need
say
to call out to a belcher.
Healbot and force him to clear.
Okay. Get
And
that
then-
charge off the weapon.
Yeah,
Dude.
go ahead and dude. Because as long as he's got that weapon sitting up there, we can't Doomsayer.
So
Yes.
go face or...
Yeah, go face. Make him run the 4. Either he needs to put that charge of the weapon into the antique healbot, or he needs to run the elite into it. My bet is he'll run the elite to face, charge into the weapon, and, well, probably knowing our luck, he'll Deathbite.
Or he could Ragnaros.
This actually isn't terrible for us because this gives us a wild Pyromancer equality turn.
Yeah, that's
Right.
value.
Oh,
You
couldn't
hit
have
a
asked for
dude.
better than that.
All right.
Now, do we want a wild Pyromancer equality or consecrate equality? Or
I would
quality
say
consecrate?
there's not a lot of wild pyromancer targets in the warrior
Fair enough.
list, and consecrate can help us clear later. So go ahead and run the 1/1 in equality, clear the board, and then honestly, I say go ahead and toss out the Doomsayer.
Doomsayer dude.
Yep. Dude, for just a little bit of BM.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to do much, but... He's hovering over that card he just drew. Whatever he just drew, I think it's going to be...
So, we've got a War Leader and Old Murkai on the stack.
We need to lay a hand, to be honest.
Yeah, we need the cards more than the health.
Okay.
Yeah. And I mean, we're cutting our health, the healing in half. But
There we go.
yeah. Go ahead.
Charge him in there.
Charge him in there. That'll give us 3 dead. That's good.
He's actually played this really well. He's
Yeah,
played us. He knows exactly what we're doing. So there's the Lotheb to stop the Anyfin.
But at this point, the Anyfin's not really a huge threat for him. What do you think of Wild Pyromancer Humility on the Lotheb that will kill the Korkron and then dude?
That's fine.
Yeah, that's not bad.
I think he's going to hit us with a Grom next turn. So I think that gets the Korkron out and really
That's
hurts
less
the
damage.
Lotheb.
Yeah, I mean that's 9 damage on the board with. Yeah, that would really hurt us.
Yeah.
And we may have to Anyfin to clear with whatever he puts out here. Ooh,
Just
that's
car.
not good. We can clear with Consecrate,
Yes.
and then we should be able to Solemn Vigil.
What does that get us, though? He's tanking up now, so...
Well, that gets us more Murlocs.
What do we've done one... We've
got one of each
leader.
on this. We've got one of each on the stack.
Okay. Yeah, I guess go ahead and 1/1 into the 6/3, consecrate, solemn vigil.
I just don't know anything else we'll need to Consecrate. And that'll give us enough mana to throw something out if we get anything worthwhile. I like quality something. We can go ahead.
Yeah, put the war leader out.
That'll give us the big bulk of the damage in the combo.
Yeah.
That's trade value. That doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's a little late to the party, but
Do we go ahead and kill the Pilot Shredder with the 3/3 and see what pops out for
Yep.
True Silver?
absolutely. That's got to go.
Yep, True Silver that, and then just value Acolyte
Yep.
and dude up.
Yep.
See here. So we have 2 war leaders, Murkai, Bluegill. So that is 2, 4, 6, and then 2, 4, 6, 9, 12. It'd be 6, 7, 8, 9 from the Murkai. And then 6, so that's 15. Man, he has a lot of...
Yeah, but he has no way to clear it.
So
Unless he
anything
brawls.
this turn?
You're right. I think he's saving a brawl.
I do too.
But I would go ahead and Anyfin, because we got 2. We got to get some damage. Get that armor off. He at least can't shield slam anything.
Yeah,
Say-
go ahead and I would actually go ahead and use the true silver because we have the equality.
Okay.
Yeah.
We have equality consecrate.
You sure do. And we even have the Eldar Peacekeeper. What's great about Gromosh, if Gromosh gets damaged and enraged, and then you Eldar Peacekeeper him, he won't get the enraged value unless he heals all the way up, and then
there's the
goes away
brawl
again.
that helps us.
Yeah, and the Merc guy's alive, which is actually not bad. Do we go ahead and...
I think we go ahead and do it now.
Yeah,
think-
absolutely.
Yeah, don't... Yeah, there you go. That should give us just a... Ooh. Is that enough? That's enough. Yeah, I think there was
More
one
than
that
enough. Yep.
because there was 2 bluegills. That other Merc guy could have been replaced by a bluegill.
Yeah.
That's another thing. When running 2 Anyfins, you kind of have to guess which ones are going to come out. Because if you get over 7, it's kind of just random. That was good. 3-0.
Yep, 3-0 with
And I see why this deck's
Anyfin.
hated so much.
Yeah, it's really a lot of fun. It really is. I mean, I can't complain. It's, you just have to be patient. You have to be patient and then just sit back and just roll into them.
Yeah, very, very good.
So, all right, guys. Last minute thoughts. Zeroshio, go.
I really like this Anyfin deck. It is going to be severely nerfed when Murkai gets taken out of standard. So enjoy it while it lasts. Other than that, stay tuned. Friday, there's going to be all kinds of great information that comes out. We'll talk about it on next week's show, episode 20, with the host of Hearth Coach, Fred and Dan. It's going to be an exciting show. Make sure to join us.
Forsika, go.
I love this deck. I know a lot of people consider it cheap, but I mean, you have to play it smart. You have to play it knowing what you have to do and how you have to get there. I think if you misplay, it punishes you. So I think if you're looking for a great Paladin deck to play on the ladder right now, that's fun, effective, and doesn't feel cheap when you win, I think this is the way to go. I like it. I'm a control Paladin player though, so this definitely fits into my playstyle.
Yeah. Again, I love this deck too. It's a lot of fun. If you missed when we were talking about it earlier, this is the deck that won the Fireside Gathering in Knoxville in February. This deck was actually down 0-1 and came back to win 2-1
in a
that
best
matchup,
of 3.
in a best out of 3. So it can really swing the tide. It's like we said, it's a lot of fun. Go out there, play it, have fun with it. Stay tuned. Like Zeroshio said, Friday's going to be huge, guys. It's going to be a swing day for Hearthstone. We're going to get so much news that we're not going to. Next week's show, the news section's just going to be ridiculous. Go ahead and tell you right now. Be prepared. Join us at 7:30 next Wednesday. We're going to cover it all for you. We'll let you know what we think. Like Zero said, we're going to have Dan and Fred on from Hearth Coach, so it's going to be a lot of fun. So make sure to join us. All right, guys, that'll do it. If you have any questions or comments about the show, please email us at heropowerpodcast@gmail.com. Please hit that subscribe button below on YouTube if you haven't done so yet, or give us a follow on Twitch to be alerted to when we go live. Also, remember to check out our Patreon, because once we hit our first milestone, we're going to start giving out a $20 prize each month to one lucky patron who backs us. For more details on that, check out our Patreon at patreon.com/heropower. And as always, guys, good gaming.
And don't forget to use your hero power.